Peace, family. We are now live. I didn't even do a microphone check, but my mic should be good.
Check
Peace
one.
to, peace to the family in the chat. I'm glad y'all out here. What's today? Saturn Day, y'all? Today's Saturn Day?
Saturn Day and
Saturn.
a heavy Scorpion Saturn Day.
Woo! Heavy score. Oh, man, we going to get into all of that. Listen,
God.
family, get comfortable. Hit the like button. Let your friends and family know this is the place to be. This Saturn Day night live. Woo! We got some amazing information for y'all tonight. Blue Pill's still in New York, fresh off the Apollo Theater. We'll get into that a little bit. But listen, we'll be right back. Get to a quick commercial and get comfortable, family, right? Make sure you hit that like button. Be right back.
It's the numerational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And get my books on Amazon now.
Hey there! Had a bad dream? I have dreams too. Some parts are scary and some parts are fun. Always remind yourself, it's only a dream and everything will be okay. I had a dream about being in a forest too. Check it out, my pet Petey was with me. Order your copy of Kayla Petey and the Forest on Amazon today.
All right. We are back live.
Yeah.
What's going on with y'all in the chat? Without further ado, I want to welcome back to the show the red and the blue pill. Welcome back, my brothers.
Peace, brother.
Hey,
Peace to the family. Thank you for having us.
somebody said they can't hear me. Can y'all hear me? Audio low? Okay. Check.
There you go. Sound a lot better.
Check. Sound better?
Yes.
Okay. All right, family. Yeah, I think I think I could hear it in my headphones better now too. Thanks for letting me know, family. Is it better? Let me know if it's better. I think it's better. Rest said it's better. Thanks for letting me know. We hate to start the show. Okay, much better. Yeah, I had the volume. I think my son turned the volume down. Shout out to Sirius. Listen,
Nah,
man.
DJ Serious. Let's be clear.
DJ. Okay, there you go. DJ Sirius. Oh man, Red, you missed it, man. Me and Blue at the Apollo. Keys did his thing. Everybody did their thing. I did my thing. We had a blast, man, at the Apollo. A blast, Red.
I seen the energy, man. I seen it.
Yeah, you are being requested on the remainder of the tour. They said it was like looking at LeBron. See, it's not LeBron playing Jordan. We got to say it's LeBron playing with Jordan because it was not a versus. It was the dream team.
Right.
The one of the best question askers in the game with one of the best question answerers in the game, and that combination was something that people are still talking about to this day.
Yeah, I was honored to hit that stage and do my thing, man. It felt good. It felt real good. And I'm just thankful for those who came before me that paved the way, family. But y'all get to see it sooner than later. I think he said he's gonna make it into like a documentary form, so everybody will be able to see it. But it was legendary, man. Definitely legendary. Definitely legendary.
Congrats for touching that stage. You know what I mean? As an Apollo kid, you know what I'm talking about, turn into Apollo God. You know, you definitely made the community and your city very proud, King. So congratulations on that.
Indeed. Shout out to Harlem.
Harlem.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, so I was walking. I went to Central Park earlier, so I even walked past the P's and everything, and I had to tell his family, I'm like, the brother come from here and made it all the way to the stage in the Apollo. Let's put this in perspective. Right? Feel me?
That's facts.
MLK houses, man.
Yeah.
Look, that's where my grandmother ended up living there. She was, in a relationship with a man that was there. But my grandfather, when he came from St. Croix, the very first place he went to was the Apollo to play Calypso, and ended up with Farrakhan as his student, as the charmer. You know what I'm saying? So just to see all of these connections and the way things come together, and we're going to talk about some more connections tonight, it's just real mystical. You feel me?
Yeah, man. Y'all been going off on Instagram making connections. There's a gentleman, I don't know if I should use that word, that shares the same birthday as y'all that got crowned. What was it, king today? So that's interesting, and I think it's also now y'all Scorpios, and this guy is also a Scorpio, and is also a Scorpion full moon, I think. So a lot of interesting things going on, and I want y'all to connect those dots that y'all's making on the gram, and let the people know on a mystical level, esoteric level, on a not so obvious level, what exactly is going on, family. Talk to me about everything that's going on right now. And we had other stuff going on in New York City with the Michael Jackson impersonator that got recently got killed or choked to death on the subway. So yeah, let's talk, man. What do y'all have to say about everything happening recently? Let's start with the crowning. Let's start with the crowning.
Indeed.
Because a lot of people don't know the history on that. So what's going on with this guy here?
Very, very, very interesting chain of events that have been taking place. You know, first and foremost, before we get into any of the quote unquote extra information about Charles, I'm gonna just refer to him as Charles.
Right.
Charles is born on November the 14th. Charles is currently 74 years old. Me and Blue Pill happen to be born on November 14th, and we're 47 years old. Charles is a Scorpion, which, you know, makes him a Scorpion king. Charles is also in the esoteric occult circles considered to be the Pindar, right? The red dragon. He is at the apex or the top of these quote unquote secret orders and whatnot. He's the big homie. He is the one who was the headliner or at the quote unquote Davos 2020 summit, the World Economic Forum, where he talked about, you know, the Great Reset. You know what I mean? The Great Reset. He was the headliner for the Great Reset. So he spearheads the Great Reset. And one of the main objects of the Great Reset is the quote unquote carbon, stamping out the carbon footprints. You know what I mean? The reducing of the carbon footprint on the earth. You know, translation, you're the carbon. Okay. Charles, you know, Charles brought Andrew out today too, as a matter of fact. You know, the quote unquote his brother, who was stripped of his royal titles and things of that nature because of his affiliation with Jeff Epstein, you know. And now when you think about it, you can definitely put Charles inside of that quote unquote circle of sacrifice, sex trafficking, child trafficking, and things of that nature that have been going on, where that story has been bubbling over. And speaking of Epstein, something very interesting came to my attention today. If you were to juxtapose Epstein and Andrew Jackson's picture, they are doppelgangers. Okay. They almost look like twins. Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Blue. Let's talk about the succession of this usurping of the throne and how that tied into the 555, which was Cinco de Mayo, but was also the Ethiopian Liberation Day. So before we talk about what took place today with Charles, we have to preface it that what took place on 555 and how important. If you wanted me to do it too as well, Blue, I could read or I could share my screen and we could break down what the brother Illuminati Congo shared about Selassie. Okay. All right, let's talk about let's get into it. Shout out to Illuminati Congo and the numerics that he shared. Okay, so can you see the screen, y'all?
Yes, we can.
All right, 5 is 5, which is phi. Synchronized de Mayo. Haile Selassie communicated his divinity through numerology and frequent usage of the number 5. After fighting on the front line, which no head of state does currently, against the fascist attack of Mussolini, Vatican, and the Roman Empire, right? The Ethiopian parliament voted for Haile Selassie to go represent Ethiopia's case before the League of Nations. Selassie left Ethiopia on 5/5/1936, 5 years later, he returned victorious on 5/5/1941. 4 plus 1 is 5. Haile Selassie, 5 syllables. Jah Rastafari, 5 syllables. Lion of Judah, 5. Moa Anbisa, 5. Conquering Lion, 5. Revelation 5:5 speaks of the Lion of Judah. Haile Selassie stood at 5'5", 5'5". Haile Selassie often spoke of and operated in 5-year plans. The 5-point star is a perfect fractal. The 5 is penta, as in pentagram, the root of repent and serpent. Pan is the goat man, and the pentagram often is represented with the goat head with the point facing down. To spin this pentagram 180 degrees, aka to repent, will bring the point facing upward again. Pentagrammaton was introduced with Yahshua. Yahweh is 4 letters. Yahshua is 5. The Shin, sin, trident makes Yahweh, Yahshua. The Sin, Shin, or Sin, or Cinco of 5. On 5/5/1936, Haile Selassie left Ethiopia after being the only king and head of state who fought on the front line with his people in our modern age, to go before the League of Nations and plead his nation's cause and smite them with his tongue, as foretold in Revelations 19. He said that if you strike a match in Ethiopia tomorrow, it will burn Europe. Indeed, it did. World War II broke out all through Europe due to the failure of the League to keep their word and covenant with Ethiopia. Soon after that, armaments were deployed to Ethiopia to defend the only nation in Africa that hasn't been colonized by Europeans. 5 years later, exactly on 5/5/1941, he returned victorious to raise the Lion of Judah flag and to declare today a celebration for Ethiopians everywhere. Revelations 5:5 is all about the Lion of Judah and losing the 7 seals and loosing the 7 seals. There are 5 syllables in Jah Rastafari and in Haile Selassie. So I'm gonna just end it right there and let you to.
Let me pick up from there. If you look at the British seal, right, their royal crest, you will notice there is a lion on one side, and I believe, what is it, a horse or something on the other, or a stallion or what have you. Nonetheless, we can look into that. The reason being is that the British royals are assuming, right, the position of the bloodline of the Davidic bloodline. So the line of David. Hence the fact the Star of David is tied into quote unquote Israel or tied into Judah, right? They are assuming the Solomonic Davidic bloodline by saying they are the bloodline of quote unquote Christ. So it's just not window dressing to say that they sit on the throne as monarchs. They're sitting on the throne as monarchs, saying that we have usurped the bloodline of the quote unquote Christ, and we stand on this planet as the residuants of Christ. Now that is split up with the church. There's a separation or a connection between.
Is this it, Blue? Is this it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that a unicorn?
Royal seal. It looks like a unicorn, right?
Okay.
Because you really gotta believe in imagination. You gotta have an imagination and believe in fantasy for the story to go over. So these people who come from Germany, the Coburg bloodline, right, which is where what you call it comes from, Charles, right? What's not being spoken of is the connection of that bloodline to what's called the Holy Roman Empire. And the Holy Roman Empire is connected to the Moors. Our brother True Master and Black Dot, you feel me? And A.A. Rashid, when they went over, god damn it, goddamn rats. When they went over to Germany, to Bavaria, Germany, this is where the bloodline comes from, Bavaria, the same place that the Illuminati was founded in 1776. But the ancient history of that place is tied into Saint Maurice, who is the patron saint of Germany, who is a Moor. He's called, Saint Benedict. You got Saint Benedict the Moor, and you got Maurice, and you have all of these different kings who were clearly Moorish. You could Google it. It's not a conspiracy, right? It's just a part of history that we haven't been told. It's easily accessible. So they are usurping the throne. right? And they're sitting on the throne. Hence the fact that when Ethiopia went to war with Italy, the Pope was blessing the bombs. He was christening the bombs that they were sending over there, because Mussolini wasn't fighting on behalf of Italy alone. He was fighting
Right.
on behalf of Rome, because they were still attempting to push out the bloodline, right? Or
Right.
destroy Ethiopia, who
It's
would be
fully
considered
usurped.
the Coptic Christians. They have a bloodline that goes way further than the usurping. The usurping of the throne came by way of Peter when they pushed out the Thomason bloodline, which was St. Thomas, and then Peter grabbed it for Rome, and they have held it ever since. So it's a usurped throne, it's a usurped bloodline. This is a continuation of it. They marched out all of the stolen artifacts from their colonial conquest today,
Man, they was full
right?
display. They was
Man.
Gave
stunting.
you a full display. Look, we done stole all of these people's stuff, and here we go stunting on stage, right? Pretending to be royals. Now, royals, you would think, speaks to something ethical and moral, upstanding, especially if you're saying that you're the bloodline of quote unquote Christ.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that there's nothing ethical or upstanding about these people. You could look at them and tell yourself that they into something, you know what I'm saying, that's not necessarily God approved, but nonetheless, they sit on the throne. You know what I'm saying? And until you can remove them off the throne, they're going to continue to play the role. You know what I'm saying? They continue to front. They're going to continue to wow people with, magnetic personalities, of which they've run out. They don't have any more magnetism. They said the monarchy died with the queen,
Facts.
because in Britain, and this was their litmus test for this coronation, to see whether the people, are going with the BS anymore.
Right. Like
Because
how
they
thick
say,
is
oh, they
how
don't
thick
have
is
an
the spell.
official role, right? They don't have an official role in Britain. They're just there for pomp and circus, You know what I'm saying? But we know that it goes a little bit deeper than that. We know that these are the people who colonized the planet. You feel me?
Right.
The Queen still has over $300 billion in real estate alone.
Right.
You think what I'm saying? Like that's almost as much as the Vatican. The Vatican, on record, they say only has $70 billion of fortune. The British monarchy has 300 billion.
So Blue, when they
Yes.
talk about the conquest of the church and the crown and the doctrine of discovery, is the
Yeah.
crown speaking of this crown, or is it speaking of the crown of Spain, the monarchs of Spain, who
Well,
all of them were in attendance today, by the way?
yes.
Mm.
Initially, they were initially speaking about, Castile. So they were speaking about the crown that was tied into Isabella and Ferdinand
Yes.
initially. But that thing keeps moving, right? Because the British monarchs were a colossal power at the time that Spain and Portugal were on the scene. So they're just moving the throne and moving the narrative around. But yes, now it would still be connected or considered a connection between what we would call the British monarchs as representing the crown. They got a Netflix series where it's called The Crown. And we know that the cross represents Rome, right?
Right.
But there's a lot of juxtaposition, because the Church of Rome split, and the Archbishop of Canterbury became the Church of England, right?
Yes.
That's the person who christens the monarchs, right? That's the person who had to coronate today King, quote unquote, Charles. You didn't see Pope Francis there. You saw the Archbishop of Canterbury there.
Canterbury.
It's
Right.
This is the same
interesting. Wow.
who was assassinated for World War One, that started World War One.
Right.
Remember, the church also
Man.
splits and becomes the Eastern Orthodox Church, or the Greek Orthodox Church, right? And
Yes.
that is run by the Greek Orthodox Church. And then you got the thing going on with Kirill in Russia. That's their pope. And they're fighting a holy war in the name of that particular church up in up in Ukraine right now. So there's a lot of different variations of how these churches split. But all of it goes back initially.
Right.
You there, Blue? You there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So
You
we're
said
just getting this
you said all this goes back initially to what you was about to say.
bloodline theft,
Mm-hmm.
Real quick.
right? Whether you buy into the narrative, because again, you know, we could flash the scene again and show the unicorn. This is all based on imagination. So you know, whether you buy into this concept of Christ being an actual figure or Christianity being a substantiated thing on this planet, you know, the pain is real. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Blood is real. Subjugation is real. So whether they came into these different countries, you know what I'm saying, and was waving these banners based on something imaginative or not, they have the physical real estate, they have the people, they have the fortune, they got the mineral resources. You know what I'm
And they got
saying?
the body count.
And they got the body count, and they have the proverbial throne.
Real quick,
So
Blue. I wanted to show the coat of arms of Coburg real quick so we could add context to what it is that you was building on. Now, did they show this in the coronation, y'all? When they talk about that, did they show you this bloodline? Did they show you this coat of arms right here with the Moor's head? Because this is Coburg's coat of arm right here. Okay. This is in Germany. Right? Here you go. Do the Germans do they talk about that when they talk about what the Nazis or the Germans were up to?
so let's put this in further. Let's preference this and put it in context as well, right?
Yes.
I want to call this 456 head crack. Why? Because May 4th was the celebration of 530th year anniversary of the doctrine of discovery, which was initiated on May 4th, 1493 by Pope Alexander VI. Right? Yeah, could you let them know I'm here? All right. By Pope Alexander VI. This is when the Intica Terra, or what's called the doctrine of discovery, was initiated.
Right.
So all of what we see in terms of the colonization and the usurping of lands, of peoples, of minerals, of resources, of thrones, right? All of this comes out of March 4th, 1493, when they passed the papal bull called the Doctrine of Discovery, which was the first piece of international law. 44 days after we did our lecture called When in Rome 3, they didn't rescind it. What did they do, Red?
They repudiated it.
They repudiated it,
They
right?
repudiated it.
Of which at the end of our lecture, we said that the only acceptable response to this whooping that we just gave them is if they denounce
And back down.
doctrine.
Right.
And
So
44
before,
days later, they did that.
yes,
At least
real
they
quick.
started the process of it, right?
Right.
So real quick. So then the next day would be May 5th, the celebration of what's considered Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo is just not a day when Mexicans get drunk. It was a celebration of a war. That was their victory. Same way Ethiopia was celebrating their victory.
Yes.
They wouldn't have to have a victory or have a fight if not for the doctrine of discovery, and they got usurped by conquistadors and colonizers.
Facts.
So that day of May 4th started, that's the single, worst day in melanated history because it started a pogrom that has put it has caused the imbalance on this planet that we
Caused
have
the
not
dark
been able
ages.
to get a handle on, right?
Yes.
We're talking about, if they say reparations can be itemized to quadrillions of dollars in terms of damage, that's just for melanated people. You can't put a number on the amount of damage that has been done from March 4th, 1493 until today, based on that particular document that was issued.
Right.
There would be no coronation today if not for that doctrine. There would be no, Cinco de Mayo. There would be none of that. There would be no United States of America. There would be no melanated people talking about reparations. There would be none of this.
Right.
If not for that initial infraction on humanity that has to be corrected. And we have to stand, as a unified population of indigenous people around this planet and demand that they go forward and fully rescind that doctrine so we can get our remedy and redress in the international court.
Right.
To be like, we come on now.
Real quick, I want to share the screen real quick, Rich, of that document so that people can read that as well. We want to make sure that we leave as many receipts because we don't want to deal with what they call speculation. You feel me? So the papal bulls, which is called the Inter Caetera, is issued by Pope Alexander the 6th on May 4, 1493, and it played a central role in the Spanish conquest of the New World. You are and your ancestors are the New World. When they say the New World, you are the New World. You are part of the New World. The document supported Spain's strategy to ensure its exclusive right to the lands discovered by Columbus the previous year. Now, when they talk to us about Columbus and how he discovered things, they never mentioned the doctrine of discovery. We're not taught that in school, okay? And we're not taught that Spain had a strategy to give him exclusive rights to the land. What they lied to us and said, oh, he came on the lands and it was empty, so they just planted their flag and they just lucked up on millions of acres of real estate. And people wonder why, you know, cognitive dissonance and other things are plaguing our people now, because we've been living in a perception that is completely false. So please continue, Blue.
Yeah, but I mean, you're doing the correct thing in terms of, you know, giving the background information, the tangible receipts. You dig what I'm saying?
Yes.
And, you know, people are still somewhat in the spell, or, you know, they're drunk and delusional off of again, the fantasy that's given to them about the princess program, the monarchy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we like the royals. Look how they dress. You know what I'm saying? And not understand that is a stain on our people. That's a stain on this planet. If you're a Christian, that's a stain on Christ.
That's a fact. That is a fact. You feel me? That it's an abomination. The aspect of them repudiating is them taking their hands off of it. So the Vatican repudiated the doctrine of discovery. They did not renounce it. When they asked Obama to renounce Louis Farrakhan and renounce Reverend Wright, what renounce means you're throwing it down. You know what I mean? You're backing off of somebody who you may have protected so them boys could come in there and do something to them. That's what happens when someone renounces you. If you go somewhere and you got security and your security renounces you, oh, you in trouble. Okay? So the first step is to repudiate. That means hands off. The next step is the renouncing of something. So that is the next pillar, or the next quote unquote domino that is to fall. But once that domino falls, y'all, for all of my legal experts out there and for everybody that's out there looking for redress and things of that nature, once that domino falls, that means that the legal protection on everything stolen, all of that jewelry that you saw today on display, all of the quote unquote, all of those stolen artifacts that they were shot, the emperor has no clothes. Charles was up there butt naked. Okay, don't be fooled by what you saw and think, because if they took everything off of them that was stolen, he's naked. He has nothing. He don't even have a tank top on.
What do they have? What do they have left if they was to take back everything that was stolen, right? There's a major conversation taking place right now about returning stolen artifacts. Even Francis jumped on it and he said, yes, we should, if you are in possession of stolen artifacts, you have violated one of the law of the commandments, right?
Right.
Which is not steal. He said this about his own church.
Facts.
So they have been returning relics. They're attempting to return the Benin bronze. But then now people are jumping up and say, well, you can't return the Benin bronzes because those people got blood on their hands because them was the ones responsible for slavery. They showed that in the Woman King.
Right.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, this was Britain. Britain went in to Benin after they lost, right? And they washed them up.
Right.
Right.
You feel me?
They had a smaller squad that they sent in there and they got washed up. You know, I don't know if they was utilizing, you know, the spirit magic or what have you, but they had initially washed them up, and they went in Benin and they cleaned them up. You know what I'm saying? And they took all of their wealth by way of the Benin bronzes. So now there's been repeated calls to return it. I think they returned some, but they haven't returned all of them.
Mystical artifacts. Not just mystical. These are mystical artifacts that you're looking at, family. This is not just, you know, this is not just statues. Okay, when they removed all of that quote unquote gold out of when they removed all of these artifacts, they're taking mystical consecrated artifacts that have mystical properties to them, and they're utilizing that for their quote unquote rituals and things of that nature. The same way that they collect skulls and bones. They're not doing that because they think that it looks good against their mahogany walls and whatnot. They are utilizing these artifacts to do what? To continue to put people underneath this thick ass spell that a lot of our people are currently under. Okay. So the only Charles that we acknowledge is Charles Flannery from BMF. I don't know who this dude is. You know, I'm talking about sitting on the throne and whatnot, because he's an emperor with no clothes. And in your lifetime, and this is something that you should affirm underneath this moon and whatnot. In your lifetime, you will see that whole empire completely crumble to dust. If you don't see the writing on the walls, I really don't know what to tell you. But from what I saw today, it was the weakest display of a stolen empire that I've ever witnessed in my 47 years. This was desperation at the highest level. And how is it? And to show you that it was a ritual as well, today, or rather yesterday, right, happened to be a lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio. Okay, one of the most powerful eclipses in the eclipse cycle of 2023 occurred. If you look outside and you see that moon and whatnot, so they announced all the way in October of 2022 that the coronation were to take place today on the 6th and whatnot. Coincidentally, for a Scorpio, that's Charles' birth sign, right? Underneath the quote unquote canopy of a Scorpion lunar eclipse. That wasn't done haphazardly. That's a ritual right there. Let's talk about it. You feel me?
Right.
But go ahead.
Yeah, so the Scorpion full moon, you know, also remnants of that particular energy tied directly into what we saw in terms of the young man getting killed on the train. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to our brother, Raku. He did 7 hours on live, laying out and detailing, you know what I'm saying, the effects of the eclipse. And he spoke about all of the signs that are leading up to the effects of this eclipse already being seen 2 weeks out. And the young man getting killed, right?
MJ.
MJ. So you can't speak spirituality, you can't speak religion, you can't speak Christianity without understanding the significance of Michael or Michael.
Right.
Which we always said, right? Expect the return of Michael. Why? Because it is prophesied in order for quote unquote Christ to return, Michael has to come back first with the legions. He's responsible for, he's the warrior, he is the army. You know what I'm saying? All through New York, there's all of these advertisements everywhere of this new Michael Jackson Broadway play. So on the buses, on the trains, on billboards, right? You see a silhouette of MJ. And ironically, unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, this young man whose name was Jordan had to meet his demise. Now, which is also a very, that's a biblical name. They're speaking about, you know, the Jordan River, the crossing over of the Jordan River,
right,
deals with the people who are considered Hebrew, the Iberu, which means to cross over.
right.
You feel me? I did my sermon the day before because he got murked on a Monday. When I did mine on Sunday, and I tied my sermons into the Gregorian calendar. Okay, the day on Sunday when I did it, I was reading passages about them crossing over the River Jordan. So it coincide, the passages in the Bible coincide with the sacrifice or the ritualistic sacrifice of this man on the train by a ex-Marine, if you will, right?
Who's
So
also
even
I'm
no, hold on,
sorry.
because the ex-Marine Michael governs what? He's the patron saint of military and
Of
police.
military. Right. The police carry the saint card in their hats.
They carry the card of Michael in their hats.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's a Martian energy. He deals with war. He deals with Mars, 44 energy.
Right.
So,
Even more so, James, Michael is tied into Dirty Diana. Right? Michael gave you Dirty Diana. That's Princess Diana.
Michael had beef with Prince Charles when he was married to Diana because he's like, yo, why you so cool with this nigga? You feel me? So
Right.
Michael and Charles ain't get along. So all of these themes are returning and part of this particular narrative. It's like all roads led to this particular quote unquote week or this weekend for this coronation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Wow.
Shout out to Adika Butler.
Yeah.
He put out a
My brother,
beautiful. What up, human? Shout out to the God Body. Yes, salute, King. It was also said that we should put protective energy over the last MJ that we have, which is Michael Jordan. Okay.
I seen the pitch. Michael Jordan's in Morocco. I don't know if it's currently right now, but for some reason I just saw that picture on IG like today or yesterday.
Oh, dope. You feel me? Yeah, I personally saw the brother Jordan dancing on the train years ago. Okay, he was well known in New York City as an entertainer. We don't frown upon our entertainers on the train because if they were on American Idol or America's Got Talent, y'all will fall in love with them. Right. So we don't frown upon them. We don't look down upon them. We actually encourage our artists and our performers to come on them trains and do their things. Yeah. Okay. The sad part of what we saw took place on that train is in the most expensive city in the world, which is New York City, the most expensive city in the world, where they're selling sandwiches in Midtown Manhattan for $29. This young man said that he was hungry and he slammed his jacket down. You know what I'm talking about? And as a result of that, white fragility kicked in, and a European, and he had help by two melanated individuals and whatnot. It was 3 ruffians that put that man to his demise. They choked him out for 15 minutes. And while he was being placed in an illegal headlock, the same headlock that killed Eric Gardner and Raphael, what's the brother name? Was it Perez?
Anthony Baez.
The 2 other people were holding his hands down, right? So that automatically is murder. Okay, it's not self-defense because there's no footage of an attack, right? So as he was trying to get the arm, his hands were being held down while the life was being choked out of them. Okay, so that has New York City now in an uproar. The same month that George Floyd happened was in May. He got killed in Memorial Weekend. This man gets killed in the beginning of May and whatnot. Okay, so the similarities, and this is also on the cusp of an election season and whatnot. We rolling into 24 with the Democrats. So look out for this story to be highly politicized. The social justice warriors, they're already outside, rebel rousing and whatnot, and it will be politicized. It already has been politicized. And rise in power to that brother who I feel was ritualistically murdered. The assailant, the European from Long Island, Central Islip, his father is a retired lieutenant in the NYPD. Henceforth, why he was allowed to just walk away like he was Bernard Getz. Okay. who was a famous vigilante from the 80s and whatnot, and they're bringing back that vigilante energy to the richest city in New York, and the richest city in the world, which is New York City, where the rent is $9,000 for 2 bedrooms in Midtown Manhattan, because these quote unquote Europeans who are not native New Yorkers, and a lot of people who are in New York right now, they want the mentally ill, they want the homeless, and they want the gangbangers and the drillers and everybody who is considered to be undesirable. They want them to get packed up and shipped out. And the mayor, who is also ex-police, he put out an edict that said that the mentally ill are to be removed from the transit by force. Okay.
When did he do that, Red?
He did that a year ago. Not really a year ago. He did that at the end of 22, going into 23.
And his name is Eric Holder, right?
He's Eric Adams,
Eric
the mayor, who likes to hang out with rappers and whatnot. He's Eric Adams and whatnot, but he's basically the police.
Right.
So he is being charged by Wall Street and by the wealthy citizens of New York City to make it now more of a police state and to implement these type of quote unquote, and to deputize the citizens to become vigilantes. And henceforth, that's why you saw happen what happened. And the language that they used before they got a lot of flack was, you know, shit happens. Because it's his policy that killed that man. Yeah.
Now, when things like this happen and we see the word Mike, like Blue said, we see Michael ads popping up for Broadway shows, and we see Michael on the news, and we see somebody imitating Michael Jackson. Is this a sign for us to engage in rituals related to Archangel Michael? Should we tap into that Michael energy when we see it prevalent in the air?
Think about this. Michael Jackson got murdered on the goddamn train, bro. Because the real Michael is not here. But Michael lived in this man's heart. He was a doppelganger. He was a child of Michael, right? So the image of that man being choked out on the train and whatnot by 3 ruffians, that is Michael. So definitely you playing Michael Jackson's music. You definitely calling on Michael the Archangel to come back to avenge. You are definitely saying they don't care about us. You know what I mean? Like you're definitely tapping into that MJ energy. And I'm even watching Michael Jordan. Yes, but yes, to answer your question, Brother Rich, hell effing yes, especially underneath this Scorpio moon that we're in. Okay. Yes, we're talking about resurrection. We're talking about, and this moon represents basically dropping bad habits, leaving shit behind that doesn't work for you. I am tired of this continuous cycle of trauma, drama, and all of this stuff that's taking place. It has to eventually end. The suffrage that people are going through, we have to call, you know, we just got to bury that shit, put it on some paper and burn it. And just know that the answers will come, you know what I mean, from somewhere, that things will begin to shift, because they are shifting, but we're going to accelerate the shift.
No, indeed. Yeah, these are some interesting times. Did y'all see the Queen Charlotte on Netflix? Did y'all see that yet?
That's another thing. Yeah, Shonda Rhimes.
Yeah, I saw the picture just now in the subway. And I was like, oh, so they complaining about Cleopatra being melanated, but they're gonna let Queen Charlotte go. I mean, she was amalgamated. We know that she was melanated as well. But again, these are interesting times. You know what I'm saying? These are interesting conversations speaking about these hidden bloodlines.
Oh, it's all coming out. The whitewashed picture of Queen Charlotte compared to the sister that they done casted, it's a drastic difference. You know what I'm talking about? Look at her, bro. They got her fro popping, and they talk about the Moors in the series. Okay. And of course, they're making it a lot of race-based. This is Shonda Rhimes. Okay. This is given to our sisters as a love story. This is Bridgerton.
And you know Blue was just talking about May 4th. This dropped on May 4th.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Wow. and that's shaking up a lot of quote unquote. These people are kind of upset. You know what I mean? They panties is in a bunch, you know, but they can't come for her the way that they came for Cleopatra. But they're like, damn, they putting our secrets out because, of course, this is going to open up a can of worms for what we call the 85ers to begin to want to know more, right? So shout out to Shonda Rhimes, you know, for bringing this to the forefront and whatnot. And, you know, it's you know, it is what it is, you know. It is what it is. Shout out to all of my family that lives in Charlotte, North Carolina.
If we have any resident astrologers in the building, can y'all check and see? I think Michael Jackson has some key Scorpion placements. Might have been his rising or his moon, if I'm, you know, from what I remember. But yeah, if somebody got time, can y'all please check if there's any placements? We should always tap into MJ energy. The thing is, my cousin, Will I Am, last week he hit me and said, yo, there's a documentary with your mother in it, you know what I'm saying, with Mama Pill in it, dealing with, it was a Michael Jackson documentary called Culture Shock on Hulu.
Right.
She was all through it. So I was watching MJ documentaries last week. I watched another one about how he got murdered, right? This one was on Netflix, and it was speaking about the medical malpractice and the fact that he was, you know, he was a super duper dope fiend, right? For many years. He took a dope regimen at night and he took a dope regimen in the day. Each one, the day one will level a regular person out and the night one will level a person out. He was doing both every single day, damn near since he got burnt up in the 80s with the Pepsi thing. So Michael is an entity, a force to be reckoned with. That man has so much energy, and it was destroyed and once again usurped. And I can't say it, we can't blame it all on the doctors. He wanted to remain doped up because of the pain he was in.
Right. MJ had Neptune and Scorpio, Blue. Neptune and Scorpio.
Right. So I was watching the documentary coincidentally enough last week, and I also been watching this Tupac documentary, right? Dear Mama. We're gonna have to talk about that. Can I get in the front? What we doing? Yeah. So, you know, these conversations and these documentaries around these quote unquote iconic figures who mean more than what, you know, than appears to the eye. They embody our passage as a people. You know what I'm saying? There's so much that's rolled up into one person's life and what they represent. So we definitely should be playing MJ music, you know what I'm saying, and really tapping into that frequency to make sure that they don't kill off the spirit of Mikael.
Indeed. Well, I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Y'all assisting with us a lot tonight in the chat. We always got an amazing, intelligent chat room, so I want to give y'all a shout out. What I want to do is I want to take a few questions early because I mean these brothers, I mean they're dropping it tonight with history, with current events, with a lot. I want to get to a couple of questions. I want y'all to somebody to call in. Like I'm gonna put the link in the chat. If y'all want to ask the brother Blue and Red a question, or if y'all want to participate in this conversation, you have something of significance, you could definitely call in because I think this is an important night. The energy is I could feel the energy. These brothers started dropping. I could feel the energy. I'm gonna share the link in the chat. And if you want to ask Red and Blue anything, you're more than welcome to come on and ask these brothers on this Saturday night live.
This Scorpion, you know, because the power of the moon and the eclipse is still with us. Yes. Heavy Scorpion energy, this whole strong in y'all. Heavy ritualistic times. Do what you need to do and tap in. I highly encourage my creatives to be very creative. You know, do not miss the opportunity with this window and whatnot. Tap in. You know what I mean? Tap in. Tap all the way in.
Indeed. Let's get to Amber. Amber, is there anything, any question you want to ask to Red and Blue, or anything you want to add on to the conversation tonight?
Yeah, I've been on the show before with Dr. Valentine,
Yeah.
but I was wondering, I watched this movie about Infinite, and it was some very good things about there. And I was wondering if how do you remember past lives, and like what does it mean if you're born on November 1st in 2010?
Well, first of all, salute to you, Scorpio Queen.
Thank you.
Um, you know that Halloween energy is very, very powerful. The 31st. Of course, you pick up on that energy as well. How
Oh,
much of a seer are you?
A seer, only
Yeah.
a little bit. I'm just
Okay.
starting
And how about your intuition? Is it very strong? Are you able to pick up on people's thoughts and
a
things of
little
that
bit.
nature? Okay. Do you consider yourself an empath?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Indeed. So, the November 1st, they say that the November Scorpios are a little bit different than the October ones. However, with you being on the first, it's almost like you're right there on the cusp and whatnot. So that's why I was asking you those questions, because a lot of the October 31st and a lot of October 30th Scorpios are heavily intuitive, very, very, very psychic, you know, and very morbid as well. They deal in those depths of Scorpio to deal with like death and things of that nature. So that's why I was just asking you those questions. You know.
yeah, you're
Oh,
born on Saints Day, so I would definitely get a chart read to see where particular planetary placements are, and that can pretty much gauge how you can delve deeper into connecting with ancestor energy because
Yeah.
you're all Saints Day.
right.
And I'm just
Okay.
starting to make an altar as well. So,
Oh, you're
Excellent.
making your altar.
yeah, I found a video about Brother Yosef. He talks about altars and stuff and how to different types of altars and
Of the
stuff.
type, right. So it's an
Mm.
ancestor altar that you're making.
Yeah, I'm just starting to learn about it before I get to
Beautiful,
it.
Yeah, I
beautiful,
would
beautiful.
Excellent.
deep dive into that, during the energy of the Scorpion moon right now. So whether you are practically in research, wonderful time going to the depths of
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
As Blue
Thanks
was
for the call,
saying,
Amber.
You too.
All right. All right.
yes.
Peace. Yeah, what you were saying, Red? As Blue was
I was
saying,
just
what?
telling Amber that like Blue was saying, this moon right now, like be presently present right now. I would if I were her, if she were to go deep dive in tonight on those altars and whatnot, she would be
Hmm.
able to really tap in. She'll go down that rabbit hole and get some of the answers that she needs. This is the opportune time for that. Or I would actually begin to build the altar tonight, you know.
Mm. Do y'all think the new age community, the conspiracy community, the internet community, YouTube community is different from what we learned in the early 2000s? So you got a lot of flat earthers out now. You have a lot of people saying that, attacking the moon, saying that the moon is a satellite, the
Right.
evil entities live on the moon. Do you think that is also an attack on feminine energy? If they attack the moon, it's a further attack on the feminine energy of the planet?
Mm, interesting question, my good brother. Absolutely. You know,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Because now,
yeah, their unwillingness to say anything positive about the moon or place any attributes to the moon that speak to the effectiveness of the moon, leads me to only say it's a continuation of religion because there's a lot of, what I'm saying, things that have been mixed into, there's a lot of usurping that has been taking place with new age ideology as well. So we know that the moon has an indelible effect on the bodies of water and currencies and things of that nature. So I'm just like, explain it to me. Where did this what was happening before this satellite took place?
Right.
mhm,
You
mhm.
feel me? And you know, there's footage of things coming out of the moon. So I'm not saying that there's nothing that doesn't inhabit it or what have you. But but looking through the lens of New Age skepticism, everything seems to be negative. Feel me?
Yeah.
Where's
Facts.
positivity at in that paradigm?
Right. It's a lot of pessimism and speculation in that paradigm. It's not really I don't see too much stuff that's considered to be applicable and solid,
Mhm.
you know, but to each his own.
Indeed. Let me we only gonna take a few calls, so I don't want y'all to think we're gonna do 50 calls tonight. But let's get to another caller and add on to this magnificent conversation that we're having. Shanita, how you doing, Shanita? Question or comment on the show so far?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
loud and
yes.
clear.
Okay. I just had one question. I've been watching you for a while. When you was in New York and now you transferred down here to Atlanta. Welcome to Atlanta. Um, I'm from New York. I've been in Georgia for 23 years. Um, I got 4 sons and 2 daughters. The oldest is 31, the youngest is 13. And I've been trying to, they all alive. They not in gangs. Nobody's in jail.
Congrats.
Um, I just want to know what I could do to keep my sons, and my daughters too, on the straight path. Because so far so good. I don't have nobody to worry about. They all on the up and up. They all doing the right thing. But I want to know about, is there anything else I can say to my sons to keep them from shying away from staying in the right path?
Is
I'm
any
saying,
one of them giving you any signs?
no, like my oldest, he was the one that gave me the most problems, but he's starting to come into a mature state of
Right.
mind. But
You
he's
said-
in a relationship with somebody that's bringing him a lot of negative, and I don't have any more advice to give him about that situation. But that's neither here.
Right. And he's the one that's in his 20s, correct?
He's the oldest one, 31.
31. And then the youngest one is a teenager going into
My
puberty.
youngest son is getting ready to be 16.
Right. So
I
he's
got
going
31,
through puberty.
20, and the youngest one is going to be 16. And then I got a
Beautiful.
17-year-old daughter, 13-year-old daughter.
You look fabulous for your age, by the way.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I would continue to be, it seems that you're the pillar of the family, and it seems that you've done a great job instilling, values.
Values.
Yes, values and integrity into your children. And I would highly, you know, I would say to continue to do that. I would continue to expose each child to different things based off of what you know that they're into and what they're not into. You don't want them to kind of be repellent. You don't want them to rebel or be repelled by something that's not for them.
Well, I got one that wants to go into the military. That's the one that just got out of high school.
Yeah, about that right there. Did he share with you what his initial desire to be in the military was? Is it monetary based, or is it the fact that he wants to get out of the hood? Or
It's monetary.
okay, monetary based. Okay. Um, Interesting, because of course we know that generations of our people have been lured and duped into the trinkets that are afforded to them, a free charger, a Dodge Charger, and the GI Bill and the house and everything.
Yes.
Interesting. Is he into any type of skills or trades that deal with like technology or
Well,
things
he
of that
likes.
nature?
He's into anime and video games.
Oh man, you see, this is where I would come in and say immediate intervention
He
by
playing Call of Duty all day.
call it right.
Yeah.
I would call for some type of immediate intervention with a gaming company or some type of video gaming group that could basically entice him to not necessarily look towards the army for some type of monetary windfall, but getting into building video games or getting into esports or getting into that type of life, because that also can basically bring them more of a return at less risk.
Twitch, they be on Twitch playing it. Yeah.
Which, yeah. So, you
Yeah.
know, yeah, I would try to figure out how he could get into making video games and, you know, share with him the possibility of him creating his own company or joining a company, because that's really picking up right now. The technology, the AI tools that are available. You can code a video game on Chat GPT-4. You can design a video game. You know, these things are not out of our reach. Even AAA video games, maybe in the next 6 months, the average maybe 2 or 3 people could come together and make that happen. So, you know, man, I wish that we had our school finished and everything. I would tell you to send them to us so we could basically, you know, just have an interview. See, you're in Atlanta, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, let's stay in touch. You know what I mean? Let's stay in touch. We're working on something right now, and as soon as it's ready, I will reach out to you, because we're aiming for children such as yours to do what it is that you're, you know, to offer them an alternative route.
Yeah.
Right?
Because the 16-year-old too, he's the same way. They 2 peas in the pod, as a matter of fact.
That's right. You know how that go. You feel, you know what I mean? They're gonna rock together like that. So, you know, let's work with you.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Yes.
Hey, I appreciate the call,
I
Shanita.
don't know how to do this. I'm trying.
Nah, you good.
Yeah. I appreciate the call, Shanita.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Bye. Yeah, that was some good advice, Red. I mean, I know a couple of dudes, not personally, but through somebody else, that they just play the games and people watch them play the games and they get paid while other people just watch them play the video game.
Yo,
So it's like a lot of opportunities in that world.
I went to Rice College.
Yeah.
And I went to an esports facility. This is a historically Black college and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they were saying that they won so much money that they paid off their scholarship, or they paid off their tuition, not scholarship. They was winning their winnings. They was like, you could take your winnings and put it towards your tuition. And one of the kids who was the head of it, he was like, yeah, I paid that off a minute ago. And they were getting money on Twitch, and they get deals and whatnot. They get endorsement deals. So life is pretty good for video game players these days. Like, there's a whole industry for them. Yeah.
Yeah, I also think to that sister and anybody else who has and I just thought of it. Obviously, I would said if she was still here, but the concept of you programming me not to even think about the military was programming me at a young age. So, you know, the advice about the military and things like that, it has to start very young, because they're going to try to recruit. You know, as a Black man, you 14, 15, you start looking around, you want to make some paper. You don't want to go to jail. Maybe you don't want to do this. Maybe you don't want to do that. But that shit was drilled to me. Nigga, you ain't going to no army or no military since I was like 6. Like there were certain things, like, you know, certain things that I was programmed, you stay away from. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So shout out to my pops. He wouldn't even buy G.I. Joes because he didn't want us to be primed
into the military complex industry mind state. He was vehemently opposed to collecting G.I. Joes, and we, you know, that made us tight.
Yeah, man. A lot of these things, family, we got to start early. Like I'm already schooling my son about certain things, and I'm just trying to, you know, I'm trying to think about if I'm missing anything, but it start early. What they said, 1 to 7 is the programming years, right? 1 to 7,
to
right?
7, right?
The theta,
and then 7 to 15, and then they say you go through puberty from 15 to like 20 something. I thought it ended early, but 15 or something. So yes, that 0 to 7 is of the utmost importance. You know, we have to try our best to help to make sure these children do not experience trauma during those impressionable years and whatnot. You know, we really have to create a safer environment to really inundate them with high level information, because believe you me, y'all, they can absorb that. You know what I'm talking about? Because they absorbing Sexy Red right now and Sukiana.
crazy, man. Don't even mention her on my show, man. I seen that clip that you put
Hey.
up, man. That shit, I'm like, what the
Now I want to
you,
interview her.
you know the shock value, they gotta keep getting doing more and more buffoonery and foolishness, because after a while people get used to it and then they
Start
gotta take it
wearing
to a
off.
new level. They got to take it to
Yeah,
another level. And so now they talking about shitting on people and pissing on people during sex and all
right.
this. I'm like, damn, man.
It's Kali Yuga energy. You know, it's something that's, you know, a telltale sign of the times that we're in. It was predicted.
Yeah.
You know, it was predicted. I
So,
do think. Go ahead.
no, it just sounded like a Biggie skit. Remember that Biggie skit?
Yeah, remember
Life,
that?
life
Lord.
after death.
I'm gonna have to sage myself after this show.
Said Shorty Cole asked me. Y'all, if y'all heard the album, y'all know what I'm talking about. Let's get to another caller though. Let's get to another caller. Let's get to another sister. Goddess T. Goddess T, what's happening, Goddess T?
Oh my gosh. Hi, Brother Rich.
How you
Hi,
doing?
Red Pillar. Hi, Blue Pillar. Nice to
Peace,
meet
peace,
you.
Goddess T.
Blessings.
What's your question, Goddess T? Or comment?
I'm a Scorpio.
Uh-oh.
My birthday is October the 27th.
Okay.
1984.
Legend.
And I'm just now getting into my altar, just like the young lady that was on there before.
Yes.
And I was raised in the church, you know, and then I got I'm about like 38 now. So I decided to, you know, see what else is out there. And I like what I'm getting into. So
Beautiful.
I was wondering if you had anything for me.
Yes.
Life right now, just trying to elevate in life into this mystical stuff.
Right. I was gonna ask you, in terms of the schools of thought and knowledge, what do you find yourself drawn to the most? And it doesn't have to be one either. That's not we don't live in that reality.
I'm very spiritual.
Okay.
And I'd like to deal with the spirit, and I can read people.
Dope. You're intuitive.
I have a very sensitive spirit.
Okay. Do you tap into to Bobby Hemmett?
I just started.
Well,
like a month. It's been like a month.
What I would do, or what I would say to you, I would highly encourage, of course, Brother Rich's channel. You know, I would deep dive on Black Magic 363.
Yes, I'm a fan of his.
Yes, and I would say to go past the videos that you may have started watching when you came in. I would encourage you to go a little bit further back, but I would take the Bobby Hemmett deep dive.
Okay.
And not only would I take the Bobby Hemmett deep dive, but I would take notes. I would fill up a book, right? Because this is one of the things that's highly encouraged when it comes to your journey, right? Write everything down, right? Write everything down that speaks to you, and go back to it and return a year later, 6 months later, 30 days later. This is how we are able to measure our growth and development, because sometimes our memory fails us. Okay. But you're able to see your progression through your notes, through your journaling and whatnot. You know what I mean? Write down your thoughts, write your fears down, write your inhibitions down. But tonight, this is how you can do tonight, being that you're a Scorpio underneath this moon. Everything that you want to release, everything that you want to let go, everything that no longer serves you, write it on. If you have parchment paper, that is, you know, the parchment paper would be the best type of paper, but it doesn't have to be parchment paper. You could write it on a piece of paper and you could burn it.
Okay.
Spiritual bath tonight. If you have the components of it, whether it's Epsom salt or anything else, I would highly encourage a spiritual bath. But if you don't have the components for it, it's all good. What you do have is a piece of paper and a pen. So let's start because that's what this eclipse and that's what this moon represents. It's a very powerful window. So please take full advantage of it.
Thank you so much. I will.
Thank you for the call, Goddess T.
Thank you, Brother Rich.
Indeed.
All right.
Thank you, Red.
Red, I could tell you like this, man. You giving some good advice. I can see the excitement. I can feel the excitement. Red like this shit. Red, Red, Yo, man, everybody have to go into this as a profession, man. A spiritual counselor or something, man.
Nah. I'm just, you know,
Wow. Okay, I see you, Red. Let's get to the next one. Let's get to the who's this here? Zaire
yeah.
Ahmad.
Yo, peace. How y'all doing?
Peace.
Peace. You got a
Yeah.
question or comment, my brother?
Yeah. I got a question. Oh yeah, my question is this. One second. I ain't think I was gonna get on here.
I hear them notes. Yeah,
you wrote it down.
I'll be right.
That's right.
That's what's up. That's what's up, brother. I'm taking it serious. Yeah.
Yeah. So while I look for this, I'm gonna just tell you a little bit something about myself. So I'm 20 right now. I started this walk probably in I was 12 years old. Ran into some Hebrew Israelite information, and that really blew my mind. It was something that kind of threw me into a wave of being in my own space where I only understood where I was understanding things from my standpoint. I kind of felt defensive about it as an only child, and so
they shook your reality.
Yeah,
right.
I would say that.
That's a good thing. You know what? I think everybody needs to have their reality shaken and broken, because I was watching a video about the CIA, right? Mm-hmm. And there was a dude that worked for the CIA and whatnot, and he was talking about the mentality of the CIA, and he said, according to the CIA, that everyone is inside of their own perception, right? They're basically prisoners of their perception. And the CIA's job is to control perception, right? That's one of their main focal points, is to control the perception of American people.
Right.
That's why they're in Hollywood. That's why they're in the hip hop industry and the music industry. So I'm like, yo, we need to disrupt perceptions, because people are in their bubbles.
Exactly.
Yeah, how they perceive themselves is based on the programming.
Right.
So that's why they say we have to unlearn to relearn. And that's why when you encounter a Phil Valentine lecture for the first time, or a Black Magic 363 channel, you come across it, or a Know the Ledge, it will shake you to your core.
Mm-hmm.
Because your perception has been cracked and broken. I remember walking out of Phil Valentine lectures with real life migraines, bro. Felt like my brain was gonna burst.
That's facts.
After 8 hours of him just pounding on my perception of who I thought I was and what I thought this world was. And sometimes I had to sleep on it, bro.
Yeah.
You found that question, Zaya?
Yeah, I got the question. So the question was this. So purpose really been coming up for me strong. And so the question is, what is purpose? And what is is it solidified in a space? Because I feel like right now I'm seeing my whole life path come together and show my purpose is this one thing, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's I don't know if this is for everybody, or it's it just feels like a unique thing for me.
First of all, you 20 years old and you on the frequency. You a legend.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You literally living out your purpose.
Yeah.
When you have a child, you have one yet?
Nah.
Yeah, that's when your purpose is going to be manifested and exemplified. Mm-hmm. What is your birth sign, if you don't mind?
Aquarius.
Legend. Okay, it's the age of Aquarius. Do you plan on procreating?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So one thing that I could tell you from a father, I'm a father of 3. Mm-hmm. I did not find my purpose until November 7th, 2007. I literally was in limbo up until that day. That's the day that I saw my son enter into this world through his mother's womb. And I had what is known as the Kairos moment. Everything changed.
Wow.
And then I began to live for somebody else. Prior to that, I was wild, selfish and whatnot. And I just was living for myself and materialism. And I did not have a purpose, bro. My brother, I frustrated Blue Pill because he used to try to get through to my thick skull so many times about who I was and my greatness, but I will not hear. I was the doubting Thomas. I did not believe it. But I saw my greatness in my procreation.
Yeah.
So at 20, King, you on a good path. I would
Yeah.
say that you have an advantage over 95% of your age demographics.
Yeah.
And as you refine your power, and as you refine your skill sets, and as you begin to find your gifts and your talents, you are going to grow into your purpose. But right now, your purpose is to be a student of this high level information, King.
Indeed.
Right. Yep.
And
That's
I
what I'm
just
doing, man.
just want to add one thing before you go, my brother, because I literally if me and Blue interviewed me in front of the Apollo, and I was just talking
Mm.
about purpose to Blue
Okay, I ain't even check it out yet.
a couple of days ago. And just to let you know, one of the key things that you have to keep in mind is the word passion. I was talking to Blue Pill, and what you have to realize is that passion and excitement is your body's physical translation of
Yeah.
a communication coming from your higher mind.
Yeah.
So you want to know, how does your higher mind communicate with you? The physical translation of its communication is passion. That's how it talks to you
Yeah.
to
See
let
here.
you know who the hell you are. So when
Yeah.
you find things that you are passionate about, that you get excited about, that you get goosebumps thinking about, that's some way. I'm not saying that's your purpose, but it will lead you to your purpose. And,
Right.
and, and
Right.
eventually, if you keep following it, you're gonna find your purpose, my
Yo,
brother.
and that's what's been turned up in like the past week, literally like
Mm,
super high. Like it's
dope.
like
Right.
I'm like on time right now. It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Napoleon Hill in the book Think and Grow Rich heavily speaks of enthusiasm,
Mhm.
right?
Mm,
Move with enthusiasm, right?
gotcha.
Move with intention, a very enthusiastic, and whatever
Mhm.
you're enthusiastic about, like Rich was saying, that will lead you to your purpose. And for the record, for anybody out there, I specifically asked Zaire about him being a father or wanting to be a father. That does not That's not a blanket statement for everyone. Everyone is not going to be a mother or a father. That's
Right.
not necessarily to say if you're not one that you won't find your purpose. So I'm just putting that out there for anybody. I'm feeling his energy and his spirit, and I'm also asking him before throwing it out there for the record.
Indeed.
Mm.
Hey, I appreciate the call, my brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Y'all
Yes,
be safe.
yes,
Peace.
sir. You too. Peace. All right. Shout out to the young
Good
god.
advice, good advice, y'all.
Yeah, shout out to the young god, Zaire. I was about to say, I see Zaire. Definitely, brothers, definitely looking forward at 20. Definitely will find your purpose if he has not already found it. You know, definitely. Let's get to the next call. Let's get to Gavin. Gavin,
Yes, that's all right. Respect, brother.
yes. Question or
Yo,
comment about the
second-
show, Gavin.
yeah, just like kind of continuing with the motif of the show and Rastafari and I know red and blue coming from St. Croix, right? And for me, tapping in with Von Benjamin's music has impacted my life like beyond, you know, beyond the veil, at certain levels. And
Right.
just wanted to see if like because they also called him Michael actually too. They called him Von Michael Benjamin. Like I went and visited St. Croix for some time and tapped in, and just playing into the motif because like yeah. So I just wanted to like tap in with that and see if Red and Blue had any like encounters or like you know
Yes,
um
I met Vaughn Benjamin on several occasions, and I interviewed him as well more than once. Shout out to Sister Kafunya. Shout out to Ross Ben. Shout out to Sister Rhonda for making that happen. I studied this brother. I felt that he was an incarnated angel as well. I never met somebody that could make music and put lectures into music the way that he did, so effortlessly. But you can, anybody who knew him, anybody that heard his music, know that that was his pure spirit. So yes, he definitely played a part. You know what I'm saying? Being like a vocal component, an advocate, or a soldier in the army of not only Selassie, but definitely this bloodline, this Davidic Solomonic bloodline that we're speaking about. You know, our brothers and our sisters that are calibrated to that information, they live it. You know what I'm saying? It's a liberty for them. So shout out to men. Not oh, we got to mention Menelik as well. We just can't mention Selassie and not mention Menelik. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
And his participation with, you know, being able in that particular war initially, you know, setting it off.
Right.
So
Yeah. Shout out to Menelik.
Yeah, because I had came out to the 2020 manifestation show with Billy Carson, and that was I believe 2 days before Vaughn had ascended. You know, so like, yeah, for me it's like it's all kind of part of you know, because I've been tapping in with Black Magic for a long time. Love the show. I'm really grateful for the knowledge, and was always wondering if there would ever be kind of like a Rasta show, you know, a Rastafari show, diving into the, you know, into the connection, into the link, into like this truth. Um, and yeah, so with the coronation happening and Illuminati Congo, who's also obviously someone who connects these dots, you know,
Indeed.
just anyway, just wanted to, you know, tap in and see if there's any reflection on that, any perspective.
Thanks for the question. You gave me an idea for a future show, so I appreciate it. I'm gonna keep that energy, and I'm gonna expand on that on a future show, Gavin. I appreciate it.
Yes, I.
All right, peace. All right, let's get to the next call, Jakari. Jakari, peace, my brother.
Hey, peace, brothers. Peace, peace. Wow. Um, I had a comment. I just wanted to state that I've been following the three of you for over probably close to 10 years now. So the fact that I've seen all three in one place and I have the opportunity to say thank you, I had to take that opportunity. So I appreciate this. I appreciate all the information y'all provide.
Thank you, my brother.
Peace,
Thank you.
King.
If my eyes are a little bit puffy, it kind of leads to my question. A lot of people in my life, me especially in the last couple of years, I've started getting a lot of allergies. I'm starting to see a lot of a rise in people picking up allergies. And even today, I just see a lot of pollen in the air and in the environment. I was wondering if you guys had any kind of insight as to, you know, what, you know, the earth may be doing, how that allergies may be affecting us as the native people to this land.
How's your diet, my brother?
So I do what we call intermittent fasting. So I try to eat, you know, be careful what I eat certain times. But as far as diet, I try to my best to stay away from the red. You know, here and there I'll eat, you know, chicken and things of that nature.
I would just say real quick before Red and Blue speak on it. The technology is affecting a lot of our health more than ever. The blue light from the computer, yeah, all of that is affecting us more than ever. So we got to be on point with the way we eat more than ever, and not just the way, but our mental health more than ever. Because you know, KT talks about the circadian rhythm, and your body thinks it's supposed to fall asleep, and then all of a sudden you hit it with this light, then it thinks it's still daytime, and it's like draining us mentally. So we got to wax and wane off the internet. And I think that plays a part in, you know, allergies kicking up. So yeah, that's the only thing I would add on. But I'll pass it to the people, the red and the blue, to finish that off.
Yeah, Blue.
I think blue's in it.
yeah, I didn't hear all of the question come through. I'm on the highway, so it's kind of choppy.
The good brother was speaking about the pollen count, the you know, and the allergies, the rise in a lot of people being affected by the pollen and their allergy and the reactions. So if he wanted to know if you could speak to that in any way.
I was having a conversation earlier with my brother Stevie about that. We were in Central Park, and you know, he was saying, you know, he never had allergies, and all of a sudden he has them, and I experienced something as well coming to Georgia with the excessive pollen count in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? So,
right,
uptick in allergies. There's an uptick in, you know, it's tied to the food allergies as well. People are becoming allergic to things they've never been allergic to.
Right.
You know, there's a lot going on with our biochemistry. There's a lot going on. You know, with our ecosystem, a lot of these trees are not even necessarily, they're GMO trees. There's a whole introduction of invasive species into the environment. There's just a lot going on.
Right.
I would get an allergy test to find out what exactly, according to your blood type, you know, what is it saying that you are allergic to. you know, to
Right.
find out is this something. Because I did a blood test and it said that I was allergic to something. That I'm like, what? How? You know what I'm saying? It really didn't
Sure.
make sense, resonate with me. But once again, I myself have never experienced allergies. But once I got to Atlanta, and the pollen is so thick down there,
Right. Man thick.
I started noticing that there was changes, like, you know, sniffling, you know what I mean? Things that I hadn't experienced prior to that. I
Watery
wouldn't,
eyes.
But yeah.
yeah, full allergies, but I know that it's affecting me and it's
Right.
really impacting people as well. So that's all I have to add and as it pertains to that.
Right. And it was also said in the chat that the USA plants male trees, which give off pollen, and the female trees bear fruits. So I would ask you, how many trees in your neighborhood are bearing fruit?
Mm.
Mm.
You know what I mean? How many trees could we just walk up on and pick apples and oranges and stuff like that from? Not
Not many.
right. So, you
Yeah,
know,
it
that
was the
policy,
yeah we see going on with the weed. You know,
man.
the excessive feminization of the weed is also the masculization of the trees. You know,
Mm.
they millions of artificial to the environment, and little to no food bearing trees are accessible, especially in urban dwellings. I'm saying, so we're being inundated by what I consider bipolar energy. What is that? One pole or the other. Too much masculinity or too much femininity, and there's really no balance.
Excellent, excellent, man.
Indeed. Indeed. Peace to y'all brothers, man. Once again, thank you.
Hey,
You know, we ain't always tapped in, always tuned in.
thank,
Y'all keep doing what y'all do.
thanks for bringing up that question, Jakari. Really appreciate it. And we definitely need
Peace,
to do
brother.
more
All right.
investigation on that as a community. Thank you, my brother.
Of
Yes.
course.
Yes.
All right,
Bless.
peace.
Yes.
Peace.
I'm actually gonna call KT after that and you know what I mean?
Speak
And
with
tap
KT
in
about
because
that. Yeah.
that allergy thing is real right now.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah, man. Wow. Let's get to another call. We're gonna do one more call. We got one more call in the back. Daria, did I say your name right? I can't hear you.
Hello,
Hey.
Yes. How you say your name?
Sadiria. You said it.
Daria.
Hey, Sadiria.
I'm from Georgia, and I've been talking about this for 6 years now. And it started to get viral about the whole sexuality thing, but everybody's like talking about it the wrong way. I've been talking about biological sexualities and how we are using the wrong sexuality according to our species group. But a lot of people think I'm talking about genetics or I'm calling them gay or whatever. But no, I'm trying to tell people that we have the wrong sexuality and why everybody is so confused and feeling ashamed that we're not mucho macho like the Russians and that we are like restarting right now is because we had the wrong sexuality and we have to restart right now. And I have a lot of passion about this because it was not it came to me like 6 years ago when I graduated high school, and now I'm just like I'm an introverted person, so it hurts like going in public with this, but you
Yeah.
know it's needed. um but yeah,
Can
I've
you
been trying to tell
elaborate?
people to be like
Yeah, yeah.
non-binary
Right.
because a lot of people is like, no, non-binary is another gender, and I keep telling them, no, you. It's not about being another gender. It's a substitute so that we can restart and have proper identification to our reproductive system because we all have different reproductive systems, and we're scared to bring up our own species groups reproductive systems because we keep bringing up genetics and we're talking too much and people die and stuff and whatever. It's so yeah, you can go now. My question is, oh yeah, my question is how can I bring this up to people without making it seem like I'm telling them that they're gay or that because all this gay ideology stuff, that's their lane. I'm bringing up biological sexualities according to your species groups, but people are thinking that I'm bringing up genetics and bashing their genetics and calling them gay and stuff. But how can I bring this up without making it seem like I'm calling them gay or that I'm trying to be racist, but I'm not being racist. I'm just telling them that you have your own sexuality, biological sexuality, according to your species group.
Okay, I would ask you to elaborate more on the species group and the biological sexuality. Just give it to me in layman's terms.
Well, the eukaryotic people, these are the people that they're mixed cells people. They call themselves heterosexual, and that means two cells, and two cells coming together, mixing with each other. They're not one, they're two. That's why they call themselves heterosexuals, because they're two species groups coming together, like a zebra and a squirrel, and they're mixing together. And there's nothing wrong with that, because it's a miracle that they're alive. They're doing well for themselves, and they're trying to grow their species because they have the potential. Everyone's important. Everyone has the potential because they're from source. They're doing their thing. But what I'm saying is that heterosexuality is not the neuromelanated people's sexuality. We are something of a sort of asexuality, and we're neutral. We are one. We're not two. Heterosexuality is about two people, a eukaryotic people. Us being neuromelanated people, we are prokaryotic people. We're one. We're neutral. And a lot of people's like, neutral sounds like you're trying to call us like we're the same. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we use common sense, that we know that this is a man, we know that this is a female. And they're like, then what about transgender? What about a cyborg, whatever? What I'm saying is that we use common sense, that we know that this entity is just going to tell us what their ideology is. And if not, they get what's coming to them, because that's messed up to not tell like who you are, your identification. And on top of that, these are ideologies die. They're not going to be in mass agenda. These things aren't going to last forever. Transgenderism, cyborgism, all these are ideologies. These are not biological. They're going to
Right.
die. And so what I'm saying is that these people saying that, oh, we use common sense, what if they're transgender, what if they're cyborgs, or whatever, those are ideologies. They're not going to be a massive, that's a rare encounter. If somebody lies to you and say that they're transgender or whatever, what I'm saying is that we need to focus on that we have the wrong sexuality according to our species groups. And when
What
I
do you
bring,
label yourself as? What do you label yourself as? What do you consider yourself?
I consider myself demisexual, but when I bring this up to people, they think I'm being gay or whatever. But I'm saying that this is the best I can explain to people of who I
And
am.
what
And
would you describe a demisexual as?
Yes.
So I can.
Mm-hmm.
a demisexuality is someone that is it's like celibacy, but it's very like a long-winded, like that's going to take like, it's for you to personally choose if you want to, but to the world that sounds like you saying that you like girl and boy. But me, I am non-binary. I don't see gender. I see, I read the book. I don't just focus on the aesthetic cover. I like to read the book
Right.
because it's too much out here to just go off of aesthetic gender. And everybody's like, oh, well, you should know that this is a little girl. You should know that this is a man. You should know that this is a boy or a girl. No, you don't. That's why y'all need to really focus on reading the book, not just focus on the cover. So gender needs to be thrown out the books forever, because we need to start having proper identification of who we are and proper pronouns of who we are according to
Yeah,
our biological species group. And everybody keep thinking that, oh, I'm saying some gay stuff or I'm bashing their genetic group. I'm saying y'all are all important. Y'all have amazing potential, and because y'all are from source, y'all are amazing people. I'm a teacher to babies of all ethnic, all race groups, and I love all of them. It's just when they come into this world, when they turn 18 years old, they're just scared that they're confused, and they have all this advanced potential imagination because they're from the beta stage or whatever, and they call themselves gay and stuff, but they don't even know that they're probably cupo romantic. And cupo
Right.
romantic is someone that just don't even know if
bro,
they
these
are.
terms, it's like, wow. You done
Are you,
said like 15
These
new
are
terms tonight, but go ahead, Red.
bi-
Allow Red. We get it now.
are
What you're
you
saying? Let the brother
right?
Red respond. Yeah.
I
thank
remember reading that the sister Janae Monet was
Monet. Yeah.
pansexual. Are you familiar with
Yeah.
pansexualism?
yeah.
Is that
But
close to what you are?
no, pansexuality is if you can try anything like a cyborg, you can try to procreate with anything once. I'm
Right.
not, I'm just someone that wants to take my time and read this person platonically. And then if I am into this person, then yes, I would make that choice if I want to procreate or not. So being demisexual,
So, right,
patience.
how, how
Okay.
does one gauge, what classification that they fall into? What are the metrics that one would use to measure, what I'm saying, who and what they are, what I'm saying? And then is that being prejudicial if somebody says that they might put you in a class that you don't feel that you belong in? Like, how do we go about this?
Well, with me, I really don't care to control everyone's mouth. I really just know that I know who I am and I know my species group and I know that I represent me, you know? So if
Right.
somebody says, "Oh, I can call you uh what I learned in the program of the high school that your pronouns is like she, her, hers or whatever."
See, the,
Here.
the
Right.
the dangerous thing is that she's a teacher teaching this to kids. That's the dangerous thing about this.
Oh, you're a school
And
teacher.
No, I'm not going to teach these to kids because the kids are not thinking about sex. What I'm worried about is when they grow up and they're finally into the world, and this world is talking about how sexuality is shameful and we're not mucho macho like the Russians. And like, we need to restart. We can't be mucho macho until we know ourselves. We are so confused within ourselves, and where it starts at is biological sexualities. But the ideologies, aka the gay groups, they're pushing all of their ideologies and hushing the biological sexuality speakers. My reproductive system is not the same as a lizard's reproductive system. My reproductive system is not the same as a zebra's reproductive system. But we're all called female zebras and we're all called female human beings. But that's not enough to identify who I am in my own species groups because they're trying to really make us seem as if we're all the same, but we're not.
Okay. Understood. You did mention something about a zebra and a squirrel earlier and them getting together. But I do know what you mean. You're saying that if they were to identify you and also at the same time say a female, elephant or a female zebra or a female, that because of the fact that you are not anatomically the same, that there should be some more definition for us as human beings to be more defined so we could not be thrown in that same category or grouped into this, this hodgepodge of just female and male. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, because everyone not realizing that the eukaryotic people, the woman is a whole different species. He's a zebra. The man in the eukaryotic species group is a squirrel, and they coming together, and it's a miracle that they're alive and they have the potential to grow their species group, and that's good for them. But the thing is, they're calling all of us heterosexual across the universe, and that's not fair because I don't identify as two mixed cells coming together. I am one prokaryotic cell, and I am asexual of the asexual biological species group area. I am a part of those type of species sexuality group area. That's the best I can do with these English language, and it's hard for me to comprehend it right now,
Right.
but the best I can do, that's what we are, in that asexual area of biological sexualities, and it's
Right.
just not fair that they call it us
So
this.
let me get this right. You cannot develop the language to explain it, but you're asking us how would we recommend that you explain it, right?
How can I bring this up to people without making it sound like I'm calling them gay or that I'm bashing their race, And I'm not. I'm just telling them that we have the wrong sexuality in our species group. And it's
Maybe an explainer video. You ever heard of that?
what was that?
An explainer video, maybe?
Explainer video. Yeah. I went
Explainer.
on I I made my own profile, and I talked about it. People come on my profile after they join a very popular live, and we talk together, and they keep telling me it sounds like you're calling me gay, or it sounds like you're kind of being prejudiced or whatever. And it's not me saying that I'm being prejudiced, or I'm calling you gay. It's just you're not identifying the proper biological sexuality of your species group.
Understood.
You do
You
realize
know,
it takes
All
a
right.
man and a woman to have a child, right?
Yeah. And I'm trying to tell people it's common sense to know that this is a man and a woman. And they're just like, but what about transgender people? Or what about cyborgs or whatever? And I'm like, these are ideologies. They're going to tell you who they are. And if they don't, they get what's coming to them, because that's messed up to not tell you their identification. And on top of that, these are ideologies. They're going to die eventually. They're not biological. They're not in the masses. It's
right,
just rare to encounter this type of situation.
right, right.
Listen, I appreciate the call. I'm gonna have to
Thank you.
wrap it up, but I could tell you looking for something. I quite don't understand you fully, but I could tell you're searching for something. I don't think you have evil intentions, but you're searching for something. And I couldn't, I'm trying to listen and understand you. I'm a little lost, but yeah, like Blue Pill said, I would advise you to just learn to articulate yourself the best way you can. So when you talk to somebody, we could really understand exactly what you're saying. But
Yeah.
there's a brother named Yaki that deals with what you're talking about. There's another brother, what's the name? Kalai. He
Yeah, I
deals with
talked
you
Kalai
talk to
thinks I'm
Kalai?
yeah, Kalai, he agrees about the whole autonomic asexual thing, but he's still like confused. The same what you said a little, but Kalai's like, I'm a little confused about it, but I agree with you. I'm gonna talk about this on my shows more often about asexuality and autonomic thing, and how we are autonomic, not hetero something.
Right,
Thank
right.
you, sis.
Okay. All right. Take care of yourself.
Appreciate you.
Thank
All right.
you.
All
All right.
right.
Yeah, I wish I didn't really understand a lot of what the sister was saying. I wish
Right.
a brother like Yaki or Kalai, even KT, would be able to translate what she's saying and talk to her on another level. So yeah.
Right, right. You know, we patient with our people, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are here as a service to our community. So communication is key. I wouldn't sleep easy if we would have brushed the sister off and not give her her rightful, question. Because I'm honestly, I was curious as to, the theology or what was being said.
I think she just doesn't like the word heterosexual. She knows I think I'm not sure, but maybe she has something against that word, the English word
Yeah.
heterosexual. So
Seems like the younger generation, they are vehemently opposed to the heterosexual identity somewhat.
mm,
They said there's 100 genders. This is the proper, this is what they are propagating.
yeah,
The new age school, the new age you know,
yeah.
rhetoric. We got
Well,
we got it now. We got to bring one more person in before we close this.
one more
Yeah, Ah,
red
no.
listen.
Yeah, we got to close this one out.
We're
Man.
gonna what y'all saying in the chat about her? Let me see. She wants to learn, she wants to get out this crazy paradigm.
Yes.
What else she saying? She wants autonomy. What that mean? I don't even know. What does that mean? She wants autonomy. What does that mean?
Right.
Do you know what that means, Red? She wants autonomy?
She's
No.
basically autonomy is like, she wants her, the autonomy of your body and whatnot.
Yeah, it says semantics. Yeah, I mean that was a very interesting call. I just couldn't understand it fully. So that's why I said the best people I could think of is Yaki. I could have probably got Yaki on the phone, but we would have been on for another hour, and I didn't, whatever.
Autonomy is owning your own self, Autonomy is owning your own self. So
She don't like men. Period. That could, that could be it.
Autonomy in the sense that she wants to self-define. She doesn't want to be
right.
subject.
You want to be defined.
Oh,
I
okay.
see.
You know what I'm saying? The youth of today, they seem very opinionated about what they are and what they aren't. And rightfully so. I think that they have every right to self-identify. But then, she made the mistake of wanting to push that on other people. You know what I'm saying? She was being somewhat judgmental about not necessarily how people define her, but how they define themselves. So that's still a level of subjugation. You gotta let people be. You know what I mean? Everybody's not gonna identify as she identifies or see the world through the lens through which she sees them. I think that she needs to concentrate more on developing an identity and an ideology, but behind that identity to explain to herself first
Mm.
who and what she is, and then connect with community, people who resonate on that energy and that frequency. Thank you, brother. People who connect on that energy and that frequency. You know what I'm saying? That's how people formulate tribe. Um, but these are some very interesting conversations about what's going on in the minds of the generation that has next up, because I don't really and this is it goes deep, but I thought genes make up the body. So by saying that there's a difference between biology and genes, I thought that they were somewhat tethered to a degree, but I'm willing to say that maybe there's more to learn.
Yeah.
Let's get to one more call, family. We're gonna do one more before we get out of here. I just posted the link in the chat. We're gonna do one.
One more.
Yeah, one more. All right, we got one right here. I don't know why my son is crying. I don't know what's going on with that. T, your device is not. Let's go to Andrea because T's device is not connected. Andrea, what's going on, Andrea?
Hey.
Hey y'all. Y'all picked me up that quick. Oh my gosh. How y'all doing?
We
We
great.
doing
How you
great.
doing?
The last
I
caller.
just want to say, I learned so much from y'all, and I'm growing. Even the fast you did, so many things has been happening after the fast. I've been sun gazing thing. I'm seeing so many things in front of me. And my question is like, it's a lot of death around me too. It's like people is dying like domino effect around me. And is it part of who I am, part of my purpose? Like I just had a cousin got killed last week, and then my nephew just got stabbed in Brooklyn, and it's like it's happening like back to back,
Right.
And is it part of my calling, or like what should I do more to tap in more?
Right.
Because I am ready to go to the next level. I'm ready to go to the next level. You know,
Right.
I tap in all the time with you guys. Tap in all the time.
Yes, Sister Andrea.
Right.
I noticed the uptick in a lot of mortality since the beginning of this year. It's beginning to ramp up a lot. I don't know if I would take it personal, in terms of why me or,
Are,
you know,
are we there? Yeah,
huh?
your phone was buffering for a minute.
Oh, mine's what?
Can you hear us, Andrea?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. What he was saying, and I can add on, is that there's been an uptick in transitions as of lately. It's almost like a portal has opened, and people are
Hmm.
checking up out of here left and right.
Yes.
Um, I don't necessarily want to come from left field and tell you that this is really the time to do for self, to really dig into self-preservatory practices, meaning the death is all around you. So what's to say that, what I'm saying, it can't necessarily reach you. So that should be a signal to you that you have to prioritize your appreciation for life and do things different if that's what you're doing, because you're already shifting and making a change. We can't save everybody.
Right.
Mhm.
What I'm saying, we have
Right.
to deal with self-preservation. You found a message, you found some information that you find useful. Now imagine if you had this information for the remain for prior, for like, damn, if I had this 20 years ago, if I've been studying this for 20 years. So it's a hard pill to swallow. You know, once you get something and you know that it's working, and you start working it, but other people around you are not. You know what I'm saying? And they don't get that level of protectorate. You know what I'm saying? To stake their claim here on Earth to continue, you know, their schooling in life. And I'm not saying that they're quote unquote bad people. I'm not saying that they deserve that. You know what I'm saying? I also don't want to castigate that. It's a transformation. I don't prescribe to death the way that people do. I know that it's necessary. I know that it's inevitable. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I don't wanna, you know, I know it's emotional, so we naturally downcasted. You
Right.
know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, and that's the thing too, because I do look at death different. I see that their energy is still here, and then like I have this funeral to go to now on Tuesday. My 17 nephew got stabbed to death, and I don't. It's like I don't want to mourn for him because I still feel his energy,
Right.
but it it is, kind of,
Uh,
sad and
yeah,
everything, but I just don't want to get caught up with that,
yeah.
the
Well,
mourning and
The call is to, through the night. It's a Scorpion full moon. I will set up an altar, which is for you. It would be a white sheet, a glass of water, and a candle, preferably a white candle. If you have anything that represents your nephew, whether that be a picture, any of his personal belongings, you know, put that on the altar, speaking to the water, speaking to his spirit. And this is not necromancy, it's not witchcraft. You're really programming your mind to make a psychic connection with someone who you said that you feel. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And what you want to know is this young man at peace? Because there's nothing else that you can do at this point.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
and I don't mean to cut you off, but it's not just his spirit. When people pass, it just their spirit comes to me, and I try to
what's
get
your
a peace
all right.
and and an understanding,
There
you
goes
know.
your way. This is a part of your awakening. This is a part of your quote unquote elevation and whatnot. As you become more conscious and more powerful and whatnot, you're tapping into a part of yourself, right? It may be hidden and whatnot, and you're discovering it through these quote unquote traumatic events and whatnot. So, like Blue Pill said, I would look past the aspect of not to say not to mourn, because we can't tell you to turn off that emotion and whatnot. What I would say is I would not allow the mourning to outweigh the ascension protocol, the fact that you are knowledgeable about the altars and things of that nature, and the spirituality, and the fact that we don't die, we ascend. So
Yeah.
now you have spirits that are walking with you, and they may be attracted to the light that you are giving off and whatnot. And maybe it may be your spiritual duty to help them cross over, because you have the knowledge, you've been exposed to it, right? You've been a student for a few years. You know what I mean? I know you from New York. So you are a student
what's
who
your
was, yeah, and Blue want to know, you're a Scorpio, correct?
She froze.
Right,
Yeah, she froze.
right.
Peace,
But
sis. Are you there? Yeah,
those gates are down,
look at that light on her? You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
yeah,
I'm talking
yeah.
about.
Look at that light on her. That's who she is. She has that light on her. So she's been chosen as somebody, to help. Like he said, the people that are close to her cross over in times of uncertainty. Some of them might be, what I'm saying? They might be scared. You know what I mean? And they're coming to her because she has that light on her, and they can see that light, just like we
Right.
see. So
Mm,
shout out to the sisters, shout out to all of the sisters, especially the ones that are answering their calling. It's never too late. You feel me?
Right.
And you are the heroes of your family. You are the torch bearers. You know what I'm saying?
Ones.
You are the ones that are breaking through ancestrally.
You're the
and anything
chosen ones.
do, yeah, to support you on this channel simply through dialogue or just by holding space for the space holders.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. It's an honor to be in such good company.
Mm-hmm.
You brothers did an amazing job giving advice. We might have to do an advice line like monthly. I know you've been doing the Q&As, Rich, but on a mental health tip, because I will say this, to round out the discussion, we can't ignore the state of mental deterioration, especially in a city like New York.
Yeah.
And this is not to say that that brother deserved death, but I've seen things since I've been here that I would be somewhat apprehensive of. If I was a tourist and if I wasn't familiar
Hardened.
with energy, or if I wasn't going through my whole spiritual situation that I'm going through now, because I associate different with people with mental illness just based on my energy. But I've seen some things that can potentially be harrowing if you don't know. You feel me?
Right.
If you're not in your own mind certain about the potential outcome, like niggas is batshit crazy out here.
Mm-hmm.
It's no other way. And not only crazy, but like while I was walking through Harlem today, like they'll run down on people, like
They're
they're
aggressive. Right.
aggressive. They're aggressive. And the uptick of drugs, the trank, you can see them nodding in the streets, they doing the trank, they shooting the fetty,
They hallucinating.
they hallucinating, you know what I mean? And then the stress level post C19 is breaking people down. Like everybody that I spoke to is going through a depressive mental situation based on a rent in New York. And I'm not just talking about the people who's walking around talking to themselves. I'm talking about people who's still holding on in the city,
I,
right? Nobody's having, no, ain't nobody having no hooray or hoorah. I walked through and spoke to all of the vendors. They like, yo, after C19, when that PPP was flowing, you know what I'm saying? But everybody had a frustrated story about, I don't know how I'm doing it, but I'm still holding on. But it's hard out here, Blue. Like people ain't spending. You feel me?
see it on the people. They hurting.
You can see it on the people, man. So if we have a compassion, once again to hold space for the space holders and to be an outlet for people's mental health, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes they just need to talk. And you're not going to necessarily get this in a therapy session. And just I'd be like, this is not financial advice. We're not licensed therapists either, but we are speaking, in spirit with spirit. You feel me? And when people need help, they need help. You know what I mean? So again, y'all did an amazing job tonight.
You
You
did
know,
too.
working and walking people through the dark night of the soul, if you will. So honored to hear people embracing their transformation, younger audiences, the women in particular as well.
Definitely. Salute to everyone, like Blue said, that is walking in their purpose on this moon, right? This moon is very important. We are literally in ritual right now on this show. Okay. We are all in ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We are all in ceremony. The callers, the topic, the information, the answers, everything is a part of a grand ritual
Let,
and a grand
let me make
ceremony.
another high level observation about the cycles of this moon. You know how powerful the window of eclipse are. They say an eclipse window normally lasts 6 months, but I normally point out to people that this time last year is when they snatched up Young Thug. That's when they took down the slime. The slime is sex, money, murder. That is a Scorpio Taurus axis. Sex is Scorpio, money is Taurus, murder Scorpio. Right? They took down the slime. He was a blood that's dealing with Scorpio energy by way of Mars. Okay? This is also during the time when the financial collapse started that is still reverberating today. The financial collapse of last year during the Scorpio full moon was Terra Luna, which is a moon, and it was
Mm.
the USD stable coin. and that has been rippling through the. That is what sunk the cryptocurrency market, and it hasn't really rebounded yet. Bitcoin is at 29 right now, skatering and what have you. But also the fullness of this full moon brings about Rallo into the discussion as a connection and a continuation to what we would consider to be the slime or YSL. The destruction and the desecration and the delusion of what streets represent, which is the underworld, which is Scorpio, is also coming to the forefront. People are finding out that, once again, as Troy Ave said, I know that might be a bad example, but the streets are a myth. So people are really hurt with the Rallo situation because that was the one they was holding on to. They thought that they was gonna parade him around like what's the boy, like Bobby Shmurda. Oh, he a real one. He sat down, he did his bid, yeah, and we're finding out that it's not what it cracks up to be. You know what I'm saying? These men are falling under pressure, and yeah, may peace prevail. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you gotta let people be who they be. All of this, you know, again, like almost like she said, what this what's a real man versus what a real man ain't. That is going through a transformation. That is going through plutonic energy. That is dying to be reborn. You feel me? Why is a real man not the dude who homegirl said, "Oh, I don't want to date bus drivers"? What if that's a real man? Right? What if that's a real man holding down his BI, doing what's needed and necessary to make sure that the bills is met, taking care of his family? When are they gonna get the acknowledgement that they deserve? You feel
Shout
me?
out to
When
Black
are
Dot.
spotlight?
Yeah,
Shout out to Black Dot.
yeah, I know he felt that one.
Documentaries about niggas who laid down for 30 years and destroyed their community and they come home
Yo,
held like heroes.
yo, you know how hard it gotta be a blue collar, a man who's a blue collar worker in the Instagram era, bro. That shit, man. Listen, you a blue collar worker, man. Listen,
A garbage worker,
bro.
garbage
Sanitation.
man in the
My uncle
IG
did
era.
shit, man. In the
Yo,
IG
I'm
era, you
saying
do
like, yeah,
sanitation.
coming back
Hard.
in New York, you don't know no Willies that been on top of 20, 30. That's an illusion.
Mm.
You not getting more than a 5 year run out here, and you going and giving them 25 for a 5 year run, and then when you come home, people is applauding you and parading you like you did something that was stellar. You feel me?
Right.
But individuals have been holding not only families together, they've been holding the city together. Sanitation,
That's right.
transportation,
That's right.
right? They gotta be down there in them subways dealing with people who are mentally unstable. They gotta be there on them trains, dealing with in them buses, in these cabs. You know what I'm saying? The Uber workers and stuff, the people that gotta come into close contact, the restaurant workers,
That's right.
the essential workers. Shout out and salute to all of y'all, man. This
Yeah.
thing is easy out here, and
Yeah.
they still holding it together.
Let's not turn the city workers into the passport bros, ladies, man. Get them a shot. You know what I'm talking about? Get them a shot because they are they holding it down, man. They
They the
got
heroes. They the true
the
heroes of
hero.
the city, man. They the heroes, man. For real. Salute to y'all for
Cause
holding
Blue,
it together.
when
Man, look, the day that I got into New York and I was taking Key's younger brothers walking through 42nd Street, showing them the city. I got stopped by people in fire trucks. I got stopped by people in postal trucks, and I got stopped by people in ambulance trucks, saluting the work that was done, saluting the work that's being done. You know what I'm saying?
oh,
Mm.
So our audience is made up of real people, you know what I'm saying, 10 toes down, handling the BI, making the world a better place, man. And I really, really appreciate y'all. I see y'all for who and what you are. You guys really are the heroes, and you guys and you gals, the hospital workers, the nurses, the ones that's not putting pillows over patients' face, but the ones who have patience for their patients.
right.
Mm.
Very,
Yeah.
very essential,
Y'all,
very
y'all,
special.
y'all, y'all deserve, you know what I'm saying, a tremendous round of applause. And I really want to extend, more compassion for even what they must be going through mentally. They've been stretched, yo. And the city seems like it's doing everything it can to just beat them over their head to run up out of here. You know what I mean? Nobody's really fighting for what's considered the quote unquote little man. You know, the small, you know what I mean? The middle class and you know what I mean? Like the city is different, man. So shout
Yeah.
out to everybody that's making it happen, pulling magic out of their back pocket. We don't talk about that magic, the magic of making rent,
Mm.
You
the
feel
magic
me?
of putting food on the table amidst inflation. We not talking about the magic of the dear mamas. Shout out to Afeni Shakur, a true legend.
Super legend. Super. Put some respect on her
I'm in
name.
uber appreciation for what Allen Hughes has done to bring to light the true legacy of the Shakurs. Not just Tupac, not just Afeni, but Matulu as well.
Right.
And the rest of them. Lumumba as well.
Right. For sure. Somebody said that those city workers is married. You don't find too many single city workers when you really think about it. Like they're settled. They have pensions. They got
Yeah.
dental.
It's, yeah.
They got benefits. They got vacay. Like shout out to all of the 9 to 5ers, all of the city workers, all of the white collar and blue collar. We have love and respect, adoration, and we salute y'all. Don't ever, and so we entrepreneurs, we decided to do the heavy lifting. We swam upstream. This was not easy. You know what I'm talking about? So we have respect and adoration and we value y'all. So don't, like Rich said, in this glitz and glamour new lifestyle of IG and internet and everything, it would be hard to keep up with all of the smoke and mirrors and whatnot. But don't ever, ever, ever let that facade make you feel lesser than. You know what I mean? You are appreciated.
Indeed.
No.
Yeah, man. The Instagram is out here fooling everybody, family. Don't let
Straight
it.
like that.
You,
You know
you
what I'm
get
talking
you,
about?
you get caught up in comparing. So But y'all know what we talking
You
about.
just trying to teach the babies, but you questioning the BBLs and whatnot. Like, hold on, huh? You know what
Crazy.
I'm talking about? They got you. You know what I'm saying? They got you feeling like you need to go to DR and get a new wagon. Like, nah, don't fall for that. That's one of that smoke and mirrors, y'all. Like, don't fall into that. That's another spell. Know your worth.
Indeed.
Princess Diana, know
Hey,
your worth.
hey, leave your contact info before we get out of here.
Yeah. Blue Pillar 44 at Blue Pillar 44. I'm doing it for you, bro.
Yeah. At Blue Pillar 44 on Instagram, Blue Pillar 44 at Gmail. If you need to shoot me any info or inquiries, goldwater.com, GOLDEWATER. If you are along any of the stops in our high level conversation tour route, I implore you to pull up, come to the venue. We're going to have Goldwater in the building. You know what I'm saying? Build and Destroy podcast, one of our new projects on YouTube, with our good brothers Malik and Tariq. All right, Build and Destroy podcast. We have some amazing episodes up there. Pimpin' Ken, right? Don't judge the book by its cover, as the sister was saying. One of the most conscious conversations we've had in a long time. It literally blew my fez off. I had no idea
He was going
that
in.
homie was on a frequency like that. So yeah, check that one out. That's one for the record books.
Indeed.
Fact. KTLUniversity.com, 40AIsandamule.com, and Red Pillar on the Patreon. Shout out to everybody. Love and light to Black Magic 363 and your beautiful audience. Thank y'all for holding space with us on this very, very spiritual day, of this Scorpion moon and whatnot. I'm about to go in my backyard and just lay on the grass and just go moon gazing, because there's a lot of good energy tonight. So I have to do something with it.
No, facts, man. I want to thank everybody in the building. Everybody who joined us on the chat, called in. Shout out to everybody. There's still people waiting for calls. I gotta get out of here, family. I'm gonna talk to Blue. We definitely want to do something in terms of helping people with mental illness. So we're gonna talk about that and we're gonna work on that and get something going for the family. But I definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like I said, y'all geniuses in the chat. So I thank for all the help and support, the kind words in the chat, callers, everybody. This is Brother Rich, Red Pill, Blue Pill, Know the Ledge, Black Magic. We signing out, family. Peace.